First question: are you redshirting Zane and Nico?
That's the plan right now. That can change obviously as the season goes along. But we want to just see where we're at. We'll find out on Sunday where we're at as a team. But I think Nico's deserved that a year. He stepped in right away, and as a true freshman. Same thing with Zane. Two guys that stepped in and helped us win national championships, and we just thought it would be in their best interest to give them a chance to slow down a little bit and get a little bit bigger, work on technique, and just kind of prepare for the future.
Is there a fine line between what's like, best for the team and best for the individual?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a fine line, and that it just depends on where you're at, and where you're at with your lineup and your team, and at the time we needed those guys to step in right away. I mean, it was important, obviously, and I think we're very happy with the results. Both guys stepped in and were title contenders as true freshmen, which is pretty remarkable, and made a difference for us as a team with momentum and effort and hustle and example, and so the good news is we'll have Nico next year. We don't have him this year, but we'll have him a year later, and obviously Conaway, we feel very comfortable with Conaway at 25, and missed him in our lineup last year. I'm sorry?
How has he improved? And the same question with how has he improved this golf?
Conaway?
Yeah.
Well, Conaway's a kid who doesn't ever want to go home. We have to say, hey, Jordan, you need to get out of here. You need to go home for a few days, go home for a weekend. And so he trains all summer long, and obviously we can't require them or even persuade them at all in any way to train in the off season. But he's here just working because he wants to be the best, and I think he's a 25-pounder. I think we'll see that this year. He stepped in at 33 as a freshman and did a great job wrestling undersized, and now he gets to wrestle his weight class.
How has he started being for Sundays going
Well, this Sunday we're going with Cody Law. Dylan Alton's back. He needs a little bit more time. He had surgery after the season last year, but we're very very confident. Cody's looked very good, very strong. He's made a lot of progress. So that's another one of those guys that we're excited to see him compete and see where we're at that weight class.
How was the offseason in general this year? As a staff, how much time was spent just figuring out this lineup, figuring out these decisions as far as redshirting?
Well, things kind of. That's just never ending, as a coaching staff, and we're not thinking about this year only. I mean, you have to be 2, 3, 4 years ahead. Obviously, that's where the recruiting comes into play, and when you're making decisions on, where to put scholarship money or not, you've got to look at your lineup and make decisions and use your best judgment, and obviously use your experiences, both good and bad, from the past and what you're looking for. But the recruiting and planning for your team never ends. So, but we're pretty busy. With the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club being hosted here, you guys can see here. We have an unbelievable training situation going on right now. The Puerto Rican national team's been here for a couple weeks, and Jaime Espinal, Olympic silver medalist, and Franklin Gomez are here year-round, but the rest of his team's been here for a while. We've had a Canadian team in here. So, this room, there are people working year-round. In the summer, we had guys on the world team, Ed Ruth and Jake Varner, and David Taylor was on the national team, as well as Frank Molinaro. So, we're just trying to provide an environment where these guys can reach their goals, both, in the NCAA level and then also beyond. Well, I think the battle's just beginning at that weight class. A couple of the guys weren't able to, wrestle off yet, so that's something that we'll we're not finished with that yet. unfortunately. I mean, as a program, it's easier to just have your guy and you go with him, but sometimes it just doesn't. It's just not that easy. So, but we have 3 fifth-year seniors, as you said, in Nick Regier and Lawson and Gingrich, and they all have a lot of experience, all have the potential to do well. But that's a weight class that's a must-score point weight class for us, this year at the national tournament.
Cael, when do you expect Andrew to get back on the passion for wrestling?
Andrew's a late December, early January. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm always going to be optimistic. I'm going to stick with that.
How much do you think having Frank here,
Yeah.
how much do you think having Andrew here can kind of help those two maybe keep going again and get some?
Yeah, I mean, the Alton situation's tricky just because they've just been battling injury after injury, and that's a different type of game than it is getting your confidence back. I think healthy, obviously they wouldn't be in this situation, but that's just what happens, and that's the hand they're dealt, and we'll see. This is their last opportunity, so it's going to take a lot of hard work and focus and commitment and self-confidence, like you said, to be successful and overcome those obstacles. But that's the challenge, and that's why we're here, and we'll sit back and we'll watch and see what happens. But having Molinaro back has been very, very good for our program. He brings great intensity. He's training still. He has his sights on the 2016 Olympics. Every day is the same with him. Just constant, very high intensity, and that passion. I think that's the most important part of coaching, is just sharing your passion with the guys, and Molinaro shares his passion every day. I mean, he loves what he's doing. He loves to train, and he's a great asset to the program and also to the guys in the middle weights that he spends more time with.
Cael, going back to the red shirts for Zane and Dino, last year Ohio State did something similar where they redshirted a couple of their top upperclassmen and all their freshmen. And there's a little bit of a perception out there that they were maybe taking the year off and deferring that year to be promoted this year. They're in the top 5 by all. If there's a perception out there that you guys are doing something similar, what was your response?
Well, I think it'd be easy to say that by looking at our lineup and looking at the kids we have that are true freshmen with Nolf and Nickel and Nevels and Rashid and Kassar. If we didn't have that group, I don't think that wouldn't really be the talk. But I think a redshirt year for those freshmen will be very beneficial for them, and there's not really in any of those weight classes a need where we need to throw somebody in. I mean, we have guys that we feel can be successful. Maybe our guys on paper aren't right there yet, but we have until March to get these guys ready to score points at the national tournament and to be their best. This year's it's a different type of a challenge, I think. I mean, we were sort of favored the last couple years. It depends on who you're talking to. It was very competitive, obviously, with the Minnesotas and the Iowas and the Cornells and Oklahoma States. But we felt very confident. This year it's a different dynamic. I mean, we have to climb and we have to improve and we have to make progress, and I think that's exciting for us. It's just every year's different regardless. I mean, you always have changeover and different obstacles and blessings, but we'll see what we can do this year. We'll see how well we can coach.
Going off that, looking at the conference, I think we talk about this every year, but is the conference top to bottom the strongest you've seen since you've been here?
It's not getting any weaker. I don't think. Adding two solid programs to the mix. The Big Ten in wrestling is very strong. I mean, it's very strong. You have several teams in there that aren't just trying to win the conference. They're trying to win the nationals, and I think that's a pretty good indicator of the strength of a conference. Is just how often does that conference win the national championship, and the Big Ten wins the national championship very often in wrestling.
Yeah, where does Cael Moss fit in at this point? I think summer Greco.
Cade Moss had a solid a solid summer. He made a University World Greco team, as you said. Did very well. Won, I think, 2 matches, but more than the wins and the losses, he just everything the feedback I got was that he wrestled very hard, and he was very aggressive and used conditioning as a factor, and that's something that will really pay dividends in college wrestling, obviously. And he's a guy that we're going to go with on Sunday, and he has a history of success. He was a 4-time state champion in high school in Utah, which is it's like being a 12-time state champion in Pennsylvania. That's a joke. But he's had success, and he's a tough kid. He's a very good kid, strong work ethic, and we're going to see. He's a guy that's going to have to get some experience and develop as he moves along. But he's got the type of mentality that we feel that he can do that, and he can be somebody that can really help our team this year. Because obviously that's a huge weight class for us if Zane's redshirting, and if we didn't feel like we had somebody that could step in and wrestle there, we wouldn't be giving Zane a year to just to train and improve.
What do you expect from Brown?
Everything. I mean, he's Brown's been every year we have our team vote on the leaders and who they feel are the leaders, and he's always seems like he has won that award. He leads by example, and now we just need him to step it up a notch and compete. With the same mentality that he has from the beginning, but just lead the program, wrestle for the team, focus on the team. If he does that, he's going to get the results he needs, but he's a leader. Matt Brown's a leader, and he's a guy that we're going to rely on very heavily this year. Example, just mentality before matches, going into matches, just confidence, being there. And he's he's a 2-time All-American and a guy that's been in the NCAA finals, so he knows what it takes.
With Andrew out for 2 months, even more, Zach Light's supposed to really do well in his stead last year.
Yeah.
Luke Bryan had a nice scuffle. How do you see those two playing out?
Luke's a guy that's battled injuries throughout his career, so that's his main hurdle. If he's healthy, he's very good, and we've seen that with him placing at the scuffle. But Bites is a kid that is like a Conaway. He's here all summer long training, loves wrestling, does a great job, and I think he's improved quite a bit from last year. Had the opportunity to step in and wrestle some huge dual meets and did a great job in those opportunities. I think he wrestled most of our big duels last year. The Iowa, he had a big win against Iowa, big win against Ohio State. Close to getting a big upset in the Minnesota duel, and wrestling the Oklahoma State. So he's got the experience, and we've seen that he competes regardless of the situation. He's the same person. He was as you saw last year. He was just inches away from scoring takedowns. He's getting to the legs, just wasn't quite capitalizing. So that's something he spent a lot of time on this summer, and he's a guy that we're counting on. I think he can win, and we believe in him, and he's put the time in. He's a competitor. Now it's just, again, I'm excited just to get this started, and let's see where we're at. We'll see where we're at on Sunday.
Is that big match experience important to you? These kids that are stepping into the lineup, that they've been in the spotlight before, they understand it?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to know what we've got. I mean, we can wrestle in here, and you can be a superstar, every day of the year. But what matters is how you compete when it matters, and that's the big stage in a big duel, and he's done that, and that's something we look for, obviously, and we want kids that are at their best at the critical times, the most important times, and that's just a mentality. That's just a confidence thing that you either believe that you're at your best when you need to be, or you're not. So and the guys that I think that we have, based on their past, they're going to be at their best when they need to be.
What do you expect that Cody Law this year, what role he plays after last year?
Well, Cody's looking really good right now, and he's a state champion, a Pennsylvania state champion. He got in a lot of matches, redshirting last year and in the off season in freestyle, but he's a guy that he's going to be wrestling for us on Sunday. So, we'll see where he's at, and I think he can score a lot of points for us. He's a good athlete. He's strong, scrambles well, so he's got all the tools and everything that it takes to be successful. Now it's just let's see what's going to happen.
Is there a point that he's developed the most in that redshirt year that they've seen him progress?
Cody, I think just general improvement. I think confidence-wise has been his big thing. I mean, he came from the top youth program in the country, the Young Guns program. So he's had great coaching. He knows how to wrestle, and so I think just a general, just a mental confidence. Thinking the way he's thinking and processing competition is the big thing for him, because he's got all the tools he needs to be successful. And I like the look in his eye right now.
You mentioned earlier Gingrich and Lawson made two guys in the score points for each for one matches.
Yeah.
Can you talk just a little bit about where they've come since last year and kind of how that has changed since kind of been building for each other kind of last year?
Well, I think they've both gotten better. There's just no way you can't improve as long as your attitude is consistent and you still have high goals and you want to be the best, because they both wrestled at the NCAA tournament. Both have had big wins. I thought Lawson was really coming on strong last year before his injury. He'd only lost a couple of matches, and they were close matches to some of the best guys in the country. So I think he'd taken a big step. And Gingrich, we've seen in the last 2 years, he's beaten ranked guys, top-ranked guys. I think, the Big Ten tournament, second round, he beat the top seed there and ultimately helped us win the Big Ten, the Big Ten championship with a big upset. So they both have it in them. It's just a matter of getting through one another, and more than that, not thinking about being the starter, but thinking about being a national champion and All-American. So that's more of what we want to see out of those guys. Is we've had enough of the who's going to be the starter attitude. We want to see who's going to score a lot of points at the national tournament.
Cael, even all people not in the national this year, should people lower their expectations?
I don't think so. I think I feel confident that our program, the overall foundation, is the strongest that it's ever been. And that's something that we lost. Obviously, David Taylor and Ed Ruth, and a guy that wrestles, in pieces, James English. You lose guys like that. You don't replace guys like that. You just got to find new attitude and new talent and guys that want to be successul. But the overall program is continuing to improve. The base is getting wider and stronger. And that's our job as a coaching staff, and I feel confident that that's something that we're seeing. I mean, I think our fans should expect the same things that we expect out of ourselves as a staff, and the same thing the kids expect, and that's just a great effort every time. A fighting spirit, and representing Penn State at all times in all places. Well, and that's what we expect, and I think. The wins and the losses, those things take care of themselves if we do everything else correctly. And but I think we're going to have a fun team this year. I think 'cause you can sit back and hopefully we can watch some kids develop. And because we can train, but until they get out there and get some experience, it's a little more of a challenge for them to develop the way we'd like them to. So that's something that, again, let's get started. We've been training a long time, and it's time to get started.
Once you get through the behind tech, even through this couple of matches, does that be a point where you really think that you'll know?
I'm sorry.
Is that at that point you think you'll know how good you can?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the scuffle's a very good test of your team potential. I think that's always been a great test. The scuffle, or even the Midlands, if you do well at the Midlands or the scuffle, you're gonna do well at the national tournament and the conference tournament. But I think we'll have a pretty good idea where we're at by then. I mean, we have some matches, we have some time to kind of play around here. I mean, we're not going to be playing around. I'm just talking about figuring out, what we need to do and what individuals need to do, to eliminate mistakes and also to improve their chances of winning. and that's what November's for. I mean, but this is a big match this weekend. Lehigh's a big match. It's very important to our alumni. It's very important to us. Every match is important, I mean, if you don't hate losing at everything, you're probably in the wrong business. So I mean, obviously we expect to win everything that we're in.
That atmosphere for Pitt last
Yep.
year and how tight all of those were individually, I mean, that was a blast to watch. It was covered with it from your experience from that and having that back at the museum this year, going up against a program that's as good as Pitt.
Yeah, I think it seems like everywhere we go, it's gonna be a great crowd, and the teams are gonna be fired up, and that makes it fun. I think when we're recruiting kids, we want kids that want to wrestle in front of a sold out crowd, and if you don't come to Penn State, because we have close to 20 straight sellouts, I think, and we're trying to find seats, I get a ton of texts and emails about helping people find tickets all the time. I think that's my least favorite part of being sold out, but we love being sold out. So you got to have guys that want to wrestle in front of a crowd, and again, that believe that the bigger the match, the more excitement, the more energy, the better they're going to compete, and I think we have those guys. And I think we have another BJC match going with Iowa. I think that match will sell out quickly. Once the tickets come on sale, I don't think they're kind of coming on sale to different stages, but when they're open to the public, I think it'll sell out quickly, and that's just a testament to obviously the great fans and the love of wrestling in Central Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania in general. I don't know if that answered your question, but
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yep.
Last year, whether logistical stuff you guys have to go through to schedule that. But was that a no-brainer to do that? One, if you can, and two, what impact did you see that maybe have the program? COVID will have you those state pool meets acting.
Well, there's different ways to look at it. I love Rec Hall because this is our house. This is where we compete. This is our home field advantage. If we go to the BJC, we lose that a little bit. Yeah, there might be, I guess there will be 16,000 fans, but it's still a different environment, different atmosphere than what we have at Rec Hall. I mean, this is where we train, we warm up, locker rooms right up the hall. Locker rooms right by where we run out. So this is home for us. This is the home field, and the fans are right on top of the mat. Versus the BJC, it's a bigger and less intense type of environment. So I mean, you just have to weigh those options. But we want to provide an opportunity for whoever wants to come to a match to be able to come to one every year, and that's kind of the idea. And we were back and forth this year about not having a match in BJC, and Pat kind of twisted my arm, forced both arms. Yeah, but I mean, it makes good sense. I mean, everyone's going to watch the Iowa-Penn State duel live on the Big Ten Network. We might as well have them all in the BJC watching live. So whether you're watching live on the Big Ten Network or in the BJC, I mean, that is a no-brainer for us. Yeah, it takes some of our competitive advantage away because this is our house, but you're still going to have 16,000, maybe 15,000, 980, Penn State fans there. There might be a couple parents or something. I don't know, but whatever the deal is, I mean, that's something that we'll continue to look at, and it is tough to get matches in the BJC. That's there's a lot going on over there. When you have 31 Division I sports and you have everything else that's going on, it's a challenge to schedule.
Would Pagula ever be
It's small.
Hammond and McCutcheon look to be two redshirt freshmen that might contribute this year?
Yeah. Well, we're excited about both of them. They both did very well in open tournaments. Hammond's a kid that's going to entertain the crowd. He's a big move guy, but he can score points in a hurry. He's tough on top. He's a two-time Pennsylvania state champion. So if you can win two PA state championships, you're pretty darn good. So and that's another guy. We want to let him go and and just see what he can do. And McCutcheon's a guy, I'm very confident in him. He's just a hard-nosed, every second type of a guy. He's gonna wrestle 420 seconds, and he's gonna be tough to compete with because he's not gonna slow down. And now that I say that, he better not slow down, But he's a competitor. He loves to wrestle, and he's just a good, solid athlete. Has a history of success, so he knows what it takes.
You guys stepped up from a leadership standpoint this year, but also about Rufus Taylor.
Well, I think our leaders are similar in I think Brown he's been a leader for us, and actually Zane Rutherford, although he's redshirting, is a tremendous leader for us. And we've got a lot of guys that really lead by example. A guy like Nico Megaludis, who is just works and works and works, and what a blessing he's been the last 3 years, being able to start a dual meet off with him. But we have, I think, Brown and McIntosh is a guy we're looking to really lead the team and step up and really look, because we need to replace bonus points too. That's a big deal. So we need these guys thinking bonus points, and if you're thinking bonus points, you're thinking more about the team than you are yourself. If you're thinking about yourself, your world kind of shrinks up on you a little bit, and you get a little bit more nervous, and you don't compete quite as well. If you think about the team, that's thinking about bonus points. You're going to get more out of yourself, and that's something that's obviously very important to this team this year, and every team every year. I mean, it's very competitive, and bonus points go a long way. That's like having that 11th man.
Going back to the question, what kind of skill set have you seen from him in practice that has you excited to
Well, he's just gritty. He just wrestles hard. He moves forward all the time. He's very strong and just a real good athlete. So he's a guy that he's a little shorter for his weight class, and that's something he has to figure out because he's going to be on his opponent's legs a lot. He's got to be able to finish his shots. I think that was something that that's something he spent a lot of time on this summer and this preseason. But again, he's a guy. He has a great opportunity. I believe he's got currently the third-ranked guy in the country, Nathaniel Brown, on Sunday. So we'll get to see where he's at right away. That's a great opportunity for him.
Anything else for Cael? All right, great.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.